Yes, Dave Chappelle had a new comedy special. I did not actually see the new comedy special, but I saw pieces of the comedy special where he had a lot of daggers for everybody finally, because all the fucking anti-woke shit has gotten so out of control that we low Kirk, we might have gotten Dave back a little bit. So that's cool, you know? And another moment for woke is back, woke 2.0. Anthony Joshua beat the doors off of Jake Paul. Obviously, this is part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news, and that's precisely what I did last night with my dad and everyone else that was at my house. I tuned in to Netflix, and I straight up watched Jake Paul get annihilated by the behemoth himself, Anthony Joshua, a two-time heavyweight champion belt holder with Jake Paul. Obviously, for boxing enjoyers, it was disastrous. It was a disastrous performance because it looked sad. It looked like a sad state of affairs. You have Anthony Joshua, the man with the legendary uppercut. What is it, like 28? I forget what his career looks like. Here, I'll just pull it up. But like Anthony Joshua at some point was like, one of the most famous boxers on the planet, one of the most famous athletes on the planet, and heavyweight belt holder, heavyweight unified world heavyweight championship winner from 2017 to 2019, then 2019 to 2021. Has this long ass career, 36 years old, from the in UK, yeah. He's 6'6", 245 pounds. He's a psycho, right? Only had 4 losses in his entire career. And it's wild to me that this was even a thing that Jake Paul would have attempted. Like, it's just the hubris. Like, this is a gold medalist boxer. You're out of your freaking mind, right? Like, this is a real boxer who isn't super far out from his career peak, right? Like, he's not at his peak, but he's not super far out. He's not like 50. He's not 40. He's not fighting a guy in his like 40s or even older than that. It's not Mike Tyson, right? You're fighting a guy who's 36 years old, who until recently held the belt for heavyweight champion. And it's crazy because like Jake Paul doesn't have the reach, Jake Paul doesn't have the weight, and Jake Paul doesn't have the skill. So it doesn't make any damn sense that he would even try to attempt such a thing. I think AJ was trying not to underestimate him to avoid an embarrassing upset. Once he saw Jake was tired, he closed in. Yeah. He broke Jake Paul's guard. It was a sparring match for him, not a fight. Jake Paul got outskilled. These champions train for 15 to 20 rounds. No, I know. It was fun specifically because it's Jake Paul and he's a villain and he's getting his fucking ass beat. That was fun for me. I watched it for that reason, because I watched it going in, and I think a lot of people had the same opinion, right? Where I suspect you guys were all thinking the same thing I was thinking, where it's like, this is scripted, right? Like, they're going to do like $100 million play here. Anthony Joshua is going to disappoint by, taking a dive or something. Maybe like, I don't know. I just never think that Jake Paul is actually going to do an honest fight, right? I don't think that was going to happen, right? One thing people need to realize is that Jake is not a YouTuber. He's a boxer. He's been training for 7 full years. To put that into perspective, Joshua became world champion 8 years after he started training. Yeah. Also, no, Jake Paul is a fucking YouTuber still at this point. Because just because someone has been training boxing for 7 years doesn't mean that they're actually a skilled boxer. That's the difference between someone who might not be at his prime, but is still like very clearly a world title holder, versus Jake fucking Paul, who's been training for 7 years. There are plenty of people who I think in the professional sphere that if they also tried to like find themselves in a comparable weight class to Anthony Joshua, with a tremendous reach disadvantage, who are professional boxers who've been boxing for like 7 years, who'd probably still get the fucking doors knocked off of them. I think like maybe if it wasn't Anthony Joshua and the size disparity, the reach disparity, the skill gap wasn't so severe, he could have potentially tried to like wear down his opponent, potentially make him annoyed enough to open up. Anthony Joshua, for the first 5 rounds, is like pretty restrained, okay? First 5 rounds, he's very restrained. Jake Paul is sitting across from him. And now this is an incredibly impressive feat as well. The fact that like Jake Paul even put himself out there with a titan like Anthony Joshua is impressive. If you're willing to get your ass beat, you're willing to get your ass beat. You know, there's nothing to it. And he did, right? And it's crazy because like he was just running around. He was running around the entire fucking ring. And there were a couple moments where he did actually have a couple decent dodges. Jake Paul did, right? But ego takes you only so far. Ego takes you so far. I guess it was the shit ton of money that he was making off of this event that was the reason why he was doing it, along with the ego. I guess his technique was to just like really piss off Anthony Joshua. I guess it was his goal was to just like annoy him, survive as many rounds as he possibly can, annoy the fuck out of him to a degree where like he just drops his guard, and then he can get a couple sneak hits on it. And it almost worked. Like it almost worked. Like rage baiting your opponent to that degree almost worked, because he did have a couple moments because he was so fat and so worn out. And those 3-minute rounds are devastating, especially if you're, again, sitting in front of a fucking monster who's sitting at 6'6", 245 pounds. One of the funniest things I saw, Jake Paul, I think it was in the 5th round or something, he actually gets a pretty solid hit on Anthony Joshua. And what's crazy about it, he ate it. AJ ate it, and it was nothing. Like, it felt like he ate the hit, and it wasn't even like oh no, I got hit. Like, there was no, it immediately connected with Jake Paul. Like, immediately, like, didn't even brush it off, just went, boom, and then boom. It was so fucking crazy to me. I assume Jake Paul's brain is now smaller than the size of a walnut, smoother than chicken breasts. Yeah, his ass got no folds left, bro. He just fucking, Anthony Joshua cleaned out the remaining folds that he had up there. Just flattened it out. The remaining wrinkles up there are gone. Doctors at the end of the day are going to look at Jake Paul's brain as like the most, like the biggest victim of CTE of all time. Yeah, it wasn't like great to watch from a, technical boxing perspective. And I totally understand that if you're like a fan of good boxing or whatever, of course you're not gonna appreciate this fight, because it doesn't feel like a fight at all. 7 years of training don't mean shit if you're fighting. It's only significant for someone like myself. Like, I would not be able to fight any of these people. Okay, Jake Paul, probably a much better boxer than me, right? But I'm not a boxer. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you're trying to make a name for yourself as like, in the boxing world, and you're just consistently beating people that are way, way past the point of their prime, like super fucking old, yeah, no shit. Eventually, you're going to run into a person who's going to whoop your ass. Yeah, he's never risen up the ranks. He used his YouTube fame to fight a bunch of people with clout who aren't boxers to get his name out there. And then he started fighting people who were like boxing legends as well, and then really pissed people off. This is, this is what happens when you go up against one of the best in the world, like literally one of the best in the world. And not only is it one of the best in the world, but one of the best in the world, and also outside of your weight class. It's so crazy. So, to give credit to Jake Paul, the fact that he was even capable of sitting in the ring with a monster like Anthony Joshua, respect. Okay, I think it's really fucking annoying that there is this like WWE-ification of boxing. So I assume that like the fans of the sport will get really annoyed with Jake Paul, but everyone hates Jake Paul. Like, there's something here for everybody, right? There's something here for everybody, because it's like we watch it and we're like, oh, thank God he's getting his fucking ass whooped. Like, oh, Jesus Christ, finally. Especially when he like would put himself around legendary characters that are way past their prime by dangling a shit ton of fucking a shit ton of money in front of them, like, putting just like exploiting the like former symbols, right? Former symbols of boxing, shit like that. It's very frustrating to see, and I totally understand that. Even though I myself am not like a fan of the sport or a fan of the professional sport in general. That was fun. That was a fun, exciting thing to watch because of the way it ended. And I think, overall, I think woke is back. I think that's what took place here. Remember, anti-woke was popping. Anti-woke was popping last year. What happened last year? What happened last year with Mike Tyson? A Maoist. That was a telltale sign that anti-woke was popping off. What's going on now is that woke is fucking back. Oh, fuck. My foot hurts really bad now. My ankle and my back basically substitute between one another. It either is my ankle that hurts a lot, hurts like a bitch, or it's my back that hurts like a bitch. So good news, bad news. Good news, back doesn't hurt today as opposed to yesterday when I couldn't even move. I was really stiff. But bad news, my ankle hurts real bad. But the reason why I'm actually early, break out the dogs, show us. You guys want to see my freaking toes? They're so busted. Look at this. You guys say no, but I'm going to show you anyway. It's not, I have a wrap on right now, but look at that. Look at that. Shit looks fucked, bro. It's all black and blue. Down to my freaking toesies. Swollen and weird. Yeah, it is swollen and weird. Anyway, there's a bruise line, bro. I know. Low Kirk, they're going to have to cut it off. Hopefully not. Bro, why your toes weird? No, the other dogs, they make Kaya and Fifi. Kaya and Fifi are out and about right now. So they are not here. They're out on the town.